Good evening, I'm Starlight Skies, and I talk about marketing and business in the game industry. Today I'm going to talk about NFTs again because we just can't seem to get away from it. It just keeps coming back and back and back. So I'm going to give a more personal opinion and then I'll get into other things in this video. First of all, I just want to say that I do not like NFTs how they are right now, and I'll get into those reasons now. Number one, the environment. Now, I'm not going to give any specific details about that, but you can Google it yourself. I just know that our planet is going in a certain direction and that NFTs is not going to help us as a, whole species. So that is a concern. Number two, copyright used to be a thing. So when I'm learning about businesses, I learned that copyright, trademarks, patents are super important for businesses because how else are people going to protect themselves? And for some reason, NFTs, they just threw that all out the window. It's just very perplexing to me from them to go from one end of them wanting to protect themselves to all of a sudden it not mattering anymore for this specific, and it just doesn't sit right with me. It's just not very logical. The next reason why I don't like NFTs is get rich quick doesn't ever work. And that's exactly how they're selling this, is that this is easy and fast way to make money, but that never works out because what if you do make money really fast? Well, you can also lose it really fast. There's a whole history of people that have gone through scams and things like this before. Just look at gambling. It's better to have a sustainable long-term plan, even though that's not sexy, like a business or a compound interest or investing into industries that are actually been around for a while and are stable. And the reason why rich people are really forthcoming about this and they're talking about NFTs is because they can take that risk. They have a lot of disposable income. They already have multiple businesses and investments. So to them, this doesn't really matter. This is just another one of their businesses that they're a part of. But a lot of other people don't have multiple sources of income that these rich people have, and so they could be losing their entire life savings. It is just very risky for them, but that's the people that they need to get on board in order to make this more legitimate. So the fourth reason why I don't like NFTs is that they steal people's art. And I will talk a little bit more about that later. I have examples for you. Moving on to number 5, it's been hacked already several times. So there is no one centralized place for blockchain. It is not safe and secure. There's several companies that claim to be the place that has blockchain, but a lot of people want that money, they want that greed, but the whole point of blockchain itself is that it's not part of any government. It's that's a new currency, and they don't want rules or regulations because that's what's so appealing about it to certain people. Imagine that you do buy an NFT and you get that receipt. What happens when that data all goes away? Then who's going to keep track of what it is that you bought? They can't. So why would you take that risk? Number 6, and my last reason why I don't like NFTs, is because of that lack of regulation, no standardization, and that is a big problem. So I've been a community manager a lot in the game industry throughout my career, and I've studied different kinds of communities, and I've also been very interested in multiplayer games that don't have any kind of moderation or community managers or anything like that. What happens when you have a game where people can come together but there's no one there to enforce the rules? It's chaos. It's not fun because normal people quickly leave because people who are there, they'll take advantage of that and they'll harass players and steal from players and do whatever they want because there's no one there to tell them not to. And then you have basically a group of trolls or jerks, however you want to say it, and eventually they want to leave too because they like to harass other people and be mean and take advantage, but they don't like it when people do it to them. So in the end, a lot of these games end up with a dwindling player base. And on top of that, you kind of ruin your own reputation as a developer, and it might be harder for you the next game that you want to make because it's just not good overall to not have moderation. So I always tell businesses, if you're going to make a multiplayer game, make sure you have a plan for some kind of customer service or community managers or something like that, because it just needs to happen. And so I hope that metaphor was a good example for you to showcase how weird I feel about NFTs and the community and what I've seen so far about it. When are we going to learn that these kind of industries and businesses only help a few people? They may tell you that it's something that's going to help everyone. They may tell you it's the future. But from everything I see, it doesn't feel like that, because it doesn't feel like it's a natural evolution of what we had before. It feels very sudden and it feels very forced. And because it feels that way, I think a lot of people are just not on board with this. And that's definitely a personal opinion, but like I'd like to hear what you think about this. Despite everything I talked about today, I do know that businesses do change and industries do change. I do think that there is a possibility, like a small little nugget, that maybe this can work out, but right now at this present moment, it's just too scummy and it's too unstable, and I'm just completely not interested in it. But it is also still very new, so I'm going to see where it goes. I'm sure most people already who have watched this video has probably seen Folding Ideas video, so I'm gonna put it here. If you want to watch it, you can. I'll put a link in the description. It goes into a lot more detail than I'm doing in this video. But I'm going to move on to showing you a clip of a CEO who has turned off NFTs on his website, and I'll let him explain why.
Talk about your decision to stop most NFT sales on your platform and what the industry at large is sort of grappling with right now.
Yeah, so like any explosion, there is a huge trend happening before us with digital asset ownership, and we're still figuring out how to react to the types of behaviors that we see. There's obviously a lot of opportunistic behavior going on by people who want to make a quick buck and act in a way that is inconsistent with a lot of the values of the space. And so for us at Cent, we're a relatively small platform. We are not the majority of NFT volume transactions by any means. And we had our tweet marketplace last year, and we also have our own minting platform at beta.cent.co. And for us, what we started to witness was a lot of counterfeit NFTs on our platform. And we repeatedly tried to curtail that behavior, ban offending accounts, but we just felt like it kept coming up and we didn't have a robust solution. And so for us, we're in a position where we can turn it off. We can stop the sales of NFTs on our platforms. Again, we're relatively small, but we think that this is something that we hope to start an industry-wide conversation around, because it's not going to stop by any one platform taking one action. We actually think that there's a much greater call here for collaboration in the Web3 space.
I guess it comes to this sort of core paradox of the NFT world, right? And Web3. This is supposed to be a decentralized platform. NFTs are decentralized, and that's sort of the value that people see in them. But when things go wrong, users who want these same principles, they want the platform to act. They want rules to be reinforced, right? So where does it go from here? When you're having this discussion, what needs to be fixed? How are you thinking about it as sort of your platform is on pause?
Yeah, I really do think it's an industry-wide thing. Just like we saw with NFTs enabling creators to go cross-platform and live wherever they want to live, whether it's on Cent or OpenSea or any other platform. I think there's also an opportunity for marketplaces and the products that service these communities to step up and use those same tools to kind of come together, right? There's no reason why Cent and OpenSea and Rarible and all of the other marketplaces can't start using the NFT standard or some other standard to add data about the type of activity happening in an open and transparent way, so that anyone building a marketplace can start to use that data and enforce behaviors that we as an industry do not stand by.
What's preventing that from happening then?
Honestly, it's communication. So I think we're starting the dialogues right now. I'm in DMs with Alexander Atala, one of the co-founders of OpenSea, and I'm also working with a DAO to spearhead some initiatives on it, but it's very early. The whole industry just blew up last year. And so we're still grappling with how to deal with these problems. And, I think there's a lot of really promising solutions out there. It's just we have to really put our heads together and write the code, ship the product, get it out there.
So I think that this is really smart, because unlike other celebrities and other business people, he is not just thinking about short-term goals. I think that he really does believe in this and he wants this to work. And at the same time, he's thinking about his long-term reputation of his company. He put a lot of time and effort and money into this company into this concept. And so I think by him doing this, it's going to make him seem more credible, so that in the future, when the dust settles a little bit more, people will probably go to him and ask him for advice, compared to other people who are doing NFTs right now, who just seem like they're exploiting other people or just pushing it out there without doing their real research. I highly recommend that you watch this whole video, so I'll also put a link to this below. I'm Starlight Skies, and I'll see you in the next video.